Well, hi, welcome to My Favorite Mistake. I'm Mark Raven. Our guest today is Moe Carrick. She is the CEO of her company, Momentum Inc. So I'll say first off, welcome to the show. And I guess I see where the name came from, right?
Awesome. Yes.
Momentum.
Haha. Thank you, Mark. Wonderful to be here.
Oh, no, it's a great name, and it's good that there's that connection. But Mo is, and it would be a mistake to not research beyond the LinkedIn headline. But the LinkedIn headline for Mo says she's a best-selling author, a consultant, a relentless optimist. So maybe we can touch on that a little bit. And beekeeper. Do you mean that
I
literally?
do mean that literally, although it's sort of funny to talk about it today because our hive died in the fall, which happens. Anyone
Wow.
who knows
Yeah.
about beekeeping, they sometimes don't make it. And we had some swarms last summer, and they were too thin. So we are beekeepers. We're getting our bees coming up this spring, but right now we don't have any bees. So we're looking forward to starting again.
All right. Oh, gosh. Well, because I didn't know if that was a metaphor, but I'm glad. Okay, that's interesting to know. Literally, and here's a bit of a tease. Well, here soon enough. I don't know if the mistake involves the bees. Maybe not.
No.
But Mo asks another provocative question that I think we can touch on later here in the episode. Is your organization fit for human life? And so if you look at the books that Mo has written, you'll see a connection around maybe what you might call humane workplaces. The first book is called Fit Matters, How to Love Your Job. And the second book is called Bravespace Workplace, Making Your Company Fit for Human Life. And Mo also has a recently launched podcast called Work Beyond HR. So a lot of interesting projects. So again, Mo, thank you for being a guest today.
My pleasure.
So whether it's beekeeping or not, I won't drag this out any longer. The mystery and the suspense. What is your favorite mistake looking at your career and your work, Mo?
Well, like many of your guests, Mark, I had trouble picking because I do feel like as I look in the rearview mirror, some of my pivotal moments have been those mistakes, in hindsight, like those moments where you go, wow, that took me to door number two instead of door number three. But I think one of my favorites in terms of my own growth and also the magnitude of it, the difficulty of it, is that I went into business with my husband. That's my favorite.
So kind of that is the mistake. So tell us more about that and why, why do you consider that a mistake? When did it start seeming like a mistake?
Yeah.
Because there are general warnings around like, gosh, that doesn't that can be problematic going into business with a family member, yet alone a spouse.
Yeah.
What
Well,
happened?
what happened with us was I am in a second marriage. So, there's no easy way to say second marriage, first marriage. But the father of my children, and I divorced, and a few years later, I remarried my husband, and we had two different consulting firms. So I had Momentum, he had his own firm, and when we married, we decided that that was wonderful. We loved working together in the room. We didn't envision merging our firms. He had a business partner, and a few years into the marriage, we started thinking, gosh, we're kind of competing with each other, in our markets. And
Mm,
wouldn't it be interesting if we did merge? So we hired a coach, as people like me do. We wanted to walk our talks. We hired a dear friend and colleague who interviewed us both and came back with some recommendations. And he said, don't do it. And we ignored him.
why not? Or
He
what was the
the
recommendation?
the
Why not?
recommendation for him was that he heard, apparently in the interviews, he heard us both speak to how important it was for us to succeed in our marriage, right? It was the second marriage for both of us. We had come through divorce, four children in between the two of us, tough times. Divorce is not easy for anyone. And we were very happy to be in a loving relationship and very committed to, working that out. And he sort of said, I feel like because of the way you both roll, that if you put all your eggs in the basket of the business and combine it, that you're going to end up putting unnecessary strain on the business, and on the marriage, really, ultimately.
Yeah,
Yeah, on
both.
both.
Yeah.
And we just we were arrogant enough to be like, oh, no, we've got this. We can do this anyway, even though we paid him for his input and we didn't listen.
There,